Welcome to Boys and Brunch. This is the show where we expose everything going down on the timeline. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I almost forgot what I was going to say. If you're going to watch this on YouTube, the timeline at the bottom of the screen is broken up on the replay in to different sections, so you can jump straight to the story that you want to hear. And the topics that we are covering today are Janet Mock and the story that came out about her kind of going off on everybody on stage. Uh, then we're going to jump into Yara Shahidi kind of quitting Twitter a after a fun, what do you call it, fun shade kind of tweet. But I don't know. We'll get into that because there's a whole
Not
conversation
fun shade.
that
Come
I
on,
would like to
housewives.
have on that. Then we're going to talk about turning out straight men. And then our last topic will be refusing friendship when you want more out of that friendship. So I am your host, Jarrod D. King. I am joined by fellow hosts here, Brandon Harris Williams and Marcus Haynes. Hello,
Hello,
guys.
hello.
What's up? What's up?
I am all good. I'm wondering what you guys are up to. What has life been? What's going on? And what are these t-shirts? I feel like when we're not trying to do a theme, we all have like a theme or something. So now it's like words on shirts. And last week it was what? We were monochrome.
It's not planned at
Yes.
all.
At all.
So Brandon, why don't you let us know what you've been up to and let us know what you're drinking?
So I'm visiting family for a couple weeks, so I'm in Illinois again. So that's why my background is different because I'm not
Okay.
at my house. What's been going on with me? So I drove up yesterday, so that was just an all-day adventure to get here. And I'm drinking. I don't have alcohol this week, so it's just
A Coke.
just some
Okay.
Coca-Cola. So yeah.
Hey, that's all good. It's all good. Marcus is
I had
taking
to.
back. Hello, Mama Shay. Hello, Connected. How are you? Marcus, why don't you give us a quick update? Let us know what you're drinking today.
So, what's been going on with me? Not too much. We're coming up on finals week, so I'm kind of getting prepared for yes, Holly. So I have a lot of things to do today, so I'm kind of getting ready for that. I got the second dose of my vaccine on Friday. Been carefully monitoring the symptoms,
Very
not
good.
symptoms, side effects. So that's kind of the big thing, which is also kind of why I'm drinking a mimosa, but it's not even really all that strong. I'm trying to keep in mind, I think I'm out of the woods as far as side effects, but just in case I'm not, I want to be able to, to pop a pill if I need to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. All right, cool. That second dose put me out for like a day. I had to go lie down. I had like what do you call it, like I had not chills, but I was
hmm
just very achy, and I had
Yeah.
like what they call like hangover headache.
Yeah.
So that was my whole reaction to that.
I
That's what
ended,
everybody
I I ended up
says.
popping up. I ended up popping like several BCs over the course of yesterday.
Yeah. Now,
Lord.
see, I take prep, and they say you can't take like NSAIDs or like ibuprofen or something when you're taking that, and so I
Oh
just had to deal with
wow.
the pain.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So it's too much medication going on.
Lord.
But my week, I'm trying to think what has been going on. Nothing really special this week. It has been a week of reflection. It has been I don't know. I guess that's basically it. Nothing too special. And it's reflected in my drink because I have a nice sparkling water in a very fancy glass. So yeah, no drink today. I'm trying to think like whether I should just not drink at all, because what happens is when I drink, I tend to like when I come back to my senses after being a little tipsy or something, I kind of like it like kind of ramps up my anxiety a little bit. And so that's why I've tried to be very careful about how much I drink and all that stuff. So that's why you don't see me on this show a lot with a lot of drinks. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best balance is for me, because I've got some family members who were alcoholics, and I'm not trying to get into that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
hmm
let me be careful.
Yeah.
So it'll be sparing. We'll see, because I know Cinco de Mayo is coming up, and me and Mama Shay is supposed to go out, and I don't know if I'm gonna not be able to have margarita on Cinco de Mayo.
It's, it's
But
required.
yeah.
You like
So
Cinco
anyway,
de Mayo.
to the Gorgeois, if at any point you hear something that you like, please give us a like or give us hearts on the live stream if you're watching us on Twitter. And let's jump into this first topic. So we're going to talk about Janet Mock. I
Oh,
have
that's
the
the first
title
one.
as Janet Mock's Meltdown. I don't know if that's an accurate statement. I mean, I don't know. It's okay,
I would
like
say so.
emotional meltdown, not like a mental break, but like very emotional. Um, so basically, a report came out, I want to say a couple days ago, that during the Pose premiere party, Janet Mock got up on the stage and had like a 15 long speech or rant, I would say, is basically what it reads like in the article. So in her speech, she complained about getting only $40,000 per episode. She complained with Ryan Murphy, the creator of the show, saying, you know, I brought the girls in, talking about I brought the trans women into the show and made them a focal point, basically. Then she also apologized to Our Lady J, who is also a TV writer and producer on the show. And then she also admitted to cheating as well on her boyfriend, uh, Angel Bismark Curiel, who is the actor who plays, what's his name? Lil
Little
Papa in
Papa.
Pose.
Mhm.
Right. So I just want to break down all of these points because it was a lot to take in. And I don't know like how that hits you guys. Like, first of all, what was your like initial impression of just this news just kind of breaking? Let's start with Marcus.
I was just like, whew. Like, you know, what's the little SpongeBob thing? It was like, because it just it felt like so much at once. And like I saw a tweet that listed like everything out. I was like, oh my God, this was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So that was really my general reaction, like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah. Brandon, initial thoughts, initial
The
reaction.
same, honestly. I think I don't know, I guess it's that thing of like no press is bad press, but it's like we're supposed to be here. Like you want to go into the final season and into the premiere, like on a I guess a positive note, a good note, everybody excited that it's starting. And now this is kind of has overshadowed maybe for the past couple of days. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
because I mean, yeah, it was at the premiere party, so we know the final season is starting. But it's like, oh, what mess did she say? Or she was going off, and now I feel like this has become bigger than what I'm saying, than it should have been.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, my initial reaction was just like, whoa, what's going on? And
Mhm.
it's, and I didn't really uh, I didn't really have too much of a negative thing to say about her. I just kind of felt bad for her. You know what I'm saying? And I think that
Yeah.
that would be same for you guys as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
It was
assumed she
just
was
like,
drinking probably or something. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think not to negate anything she said. I just think the rambling and putting it all together, the way it was presented, seemed uh
Seemed like
nonsensical for
a
lack of a much better word. You know what I'm saying? It
hmm
just seemed all over.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it read, at least from what the articles have said, it read like a drunken rant.
Hmm.
And you know what they say, the drunk folk tell the truth.
Yeah,
So everything that she said was probably, true, but it's
absolutely.
just like you said, how it came together was probably the result of her drinking.
yeah. It sounds very stream of consciousness,
Mhm.
like
Yes.
something you would write out in a journal and just like get it all out.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, definitely, I don't think it was a speech. I think it was more of a like, like you said, kind of like a rant. Um, but I want to break down each point that she had made because some people are saying that she made some good points. So does she have a legitimate complaint about her salary on the show, about getting $40,000 per episode? Brandon, I want to ask you first because I feel like you know the industry a little bit more than the two of us. So,
Okay, this is where I have some confusion because I don't know exactly the minimums and the whatever. But I do know that writers' rooms they get like pretty much like a flat fee, is my understanding for the season. So because you're working on it for months or weeks or whatever at a time, but then you also, specifically, I think drama rooms, I don't know about comedies, but you get an additional whatever for the episode that you write. So while she might be getting 40K per episode that she writes, she's still getting something else for being just in the room in general. But she also like directs on the show, and she's an EP as well. So I don't know what that rate is or where that factors as well.
Okay.
So I don't think it's just, say she writes maybe 2 episodes. I don't think she's just getting 80K for the whole season.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, but I also don't know what everybody else is making, and I think that was what her point was: is that I should be making more because everybody else is making more as well. And I can understand that, but I think it's also important to note this is her first room that she's worked in as well. Like, this is her first TV gig. And so I get that she, again, has director power, and she's been an executive producer, and is now in the 3rd season, right? Was it season 3? And so, you know, I understand wanting to make more, and you probably should go up. You are supposed to go up every year, but this is still the first thing that she's done. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what everybody else's numbers are to say, you know what I'm saying, how much more she should be getting.
Yeah.
So I have a question kind of regarding that, because like, yeah, I get like this is her first thing. Does it matter like that she has a name behind her? Like, does that factor into like, you know, negotiating salaries and stuff?
I don't think it does if you're going to be in the room. I don't think it does.
Okay.
I think that it might factor. I don't know. I think it's almost like starting over. Now, of course, I think the 40K. So even say she's making 40K, that's probably not what everybody else will be making initially. So maybe that would factor in, but it's not like, again, just throwing random numbers out there. You're not getting 100K just because you have this name, because this is still the first TV thing you've done.
Okay.
So we have a couple people asking, you know, Mama Shay's asking what's the average. Connected, I feel like you could probably fill us in a little bit more about that as well. I want to do a quick Google search and see what the average writer
I might
makes.
have something, but I think but that's also the thing too, is like every network, I think, is kind of different. Every show is a little different. I think it depends on the budget there. But
Yeah,
I think some different factors
very
that go
case
into
by
it.
case.
Well, let me see. I might be able to find something. Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, so what I'm seeing, Connected is saying she was an EP, director, writer. She also gets money on the back end for broadcast rights, etc. Like what Brandon was saying. We don't know whether she's union. I don't know all that. I would assume she is. I don't know. But while Brandon is checking on that, I do want to ask, like, Marcus saying that she brought the girls in, because now we're talking about what's his name, the guy who created the show,
Ryan
Murphy. Yeah,
but
saying, yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
And that's another thing. I'm sorry, it just confuses me because the show is written by Stephen Canals initially.
Okay.
And like the initial pilot focuses on like men primarily. It's not really many trans women. And so then I think he lashed up with Ryan Murphy at some point, and then they kind of developed it. And then I think Janet came in as well. So I do think it's been levels probably before she got there.
Okay. Yeah, Marcus, did you have any take on that when she said that? I mean, the article reads as though she had a criticism of how the first couple of episodes were made,
which is okay. Which, if I'm honest, I'm a bit surprised by that, because I feel like it started off well, but that may be, you know, maybe my own bias, you know, coming in as a gay man. But I feel like it didn't kind of start derailing a bit until later on. So I'm a bit surprised by that, but it could just be kind of like a holdover from what Miranda said about it starting off as about gay men, because I didn't know that, but now thinking about looking at it, that answers a few questions. So it could be that, you know, she might not be speaking specifically about those first couple episodes necessarily, but more so like what those first couple episodes kind of led to, like who they led to a lot of the focus being on.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting because I remember the first couple of episodes of Pose and that being really impactful. You know, I remember everybody just kind of buzzing about how, you know, just kind of make them break down. And I remember I broke down and cried at, you know, it was just like, it was really special, I thought. And it's not. I guess in her perspective was that there wasn't enough of a focus on the trans community in the first episodes. I personally did not see that. I mean, because I knew that MJ Rodriguez's character was the main character, even though a lot of the focus was on what the other guy's name, Ryan Jamal Swain's
Oh
character.
yeah. What's that boy? Damon.
Yeah, even though a lot of the focus was on his story, in the beginning, I kind of knew. I don't know why I knew that, and I don't. Maybe that was just me, just kind of figuring out like where this could go as a writer or
Well,
something.
it kind of that thinking back to the first episode. The first episode started like with them in the like stealing the stuff from the museum for the ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was the opening.
Yeah. So, and then like I know in that scene, like we lingered on MJ's character. Like she was like the wide eye, like, oh, this is so cool. So it was written to where it seemed like she was going to be the main character, even if we jump perspectives.
Yeah, yeah. Brandon, did you find anything, or did you have anything else to share about that?
So I think I couldn't find specific numbers for FX, but pretty much though, it is like I was saying, each show does something different. So I think maybe new people might start on like ABC or something like a network. Probably you make, we'll say 20 an episode or whatever. But this is also cable. I just don't know. And they also do much more. You know what I'm saying? They're in the room for a lot longer as well. So while that might average out to be a little bit more, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's really, I mean, basically what I'm getting is like it's really just a case basis.
Yeah, and I think,
and you don't really know what the negotiations are behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I think to her point though, it probably is. I guess she is basing it off of probably everybody else in the room is doing, and so we don't know their numbers. I mean, of course, Ryan is making more than everybody else because he's the name, but I don't know.
Yeah. Another point was that a lot of people, or not a lot, but I saw some people saying, I just don't know if I can really feel bad for her, talking about she's making $40K an episode, and that's more than I make in a year. You know what I'm saying? It's yeah. I see you, Marcus, and I'm like I'm there with you because it's just like it's what do you call it? There's levels to
apples
this.
and oranges. I think
Yeah.
Right, you should be getting paid fairly. Like, it's almost, and maybe this is a bad analogy, but it's like if your friends are all going on trips and stuff and you only have enough money to go out for a weekend, you want to be in that same ballpark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so even though they're all technically like, even though they're all very wealthy, it's like I need to be getting paid the same amount as everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's a fairness thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does anybody know about her beef with Our Lady J? I mean, because she said something like, "I made you small in order to make me big," or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I haven't seen anything else elaborated, but I'm guessing I don't know. I interpret that as like maybe the power went to her head, or because she had been brought in and then she, was instrumental in bringing other people in. She felt a certain level of whatever maybe over her. And so I guess she was trying to apologize just for probably a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, I guess.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, I could see that. It's probably, more behind the scenes stuff that was never supposed to get to us, but of course with and I think that, and I don't know if any of this would have gotten to us if she had stopped there, but then she told her boyfriend to stand
poor
up.
baby.
I think it would have. It just would not have been as big of a story without this final part.
Because she said, Angel, stand up. And so I'll just read a little piece of this article. She says, okay, so the article, this is page 6. It's saying, but the speech took an even more personal turn when Mock demanded that boyfriend Angel Bismark Curiel stand up right now. Bismark Curiel nervously stood up, and Mock said to the crowd, "Let me tell you something about love. Today, I was going to let Angel go," she said. "I was going to let you go, right? But what did I do? I F'd someone on the crew, right?" At that revelation, one of the show's guest stars could be heard gasping and asked, "What the hell is happening?" Then she continued,
It's not funny.
Angel, I'm not losing you. You hear me? You are effing important to me, Ma continued. I don't want to live in a house alone. I want you mother effer, right there. That's who I want. I'm getting what's mine. So that was why. Well, that's what happened. And so
I think it's like,
what is the reaction to that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What is the reaction to that, Brandon? Go ahead.
I think just quick. Somebody's like comment they would have just left. I think some of these speeches are done before you watch the premiere. So I don't know where this fell in the evening, but no, I think that's like was mortifying because I initially read it as if he already knew, but hearing you read it again, I don't know if he, and I just can't imagine this is how I'm finding out because this isn't even like on set in front of all of the cast and crew. This is at a press day.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, all the press is there, so all your stuff is going to be out. And not even that, but it's like other industry professionals. It's not just,
yes.
that group. So now you have to deal with the professional fallout of a move like that, Marcus.
What type of person do you got to be like, you know what? I cheated on you, but I was going to break up with you today. What?
But you can't leave because I still want you.
Excuse me, ma'am. What? Like, ooh, yeah, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the baby. I just feel bad for him.
Yeah. When I read that must have been really crazy to have him, not to even just point him out, but to say, stand up, and he has to stand up, and then it's just such a weird moment.
Like he done been picked on by, like he being called out by the teacher. Like, what's happening?
Right. So he was put on the spot. Some people are saying that is a little bit manipulative. I want to know what your guys' thoughts on that, because there is the idea that there's this age gap between them, and that she is a producer on the show, that there is a bit of a power imbalance in her doing that. What are your thoughts on that? Was it manipulative, or was it a power move, or was it a, I don't know, I guess I don't know if predatory would be the word. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Was the speech itself manipulative? It was definitely uncalled for. I mean, I don't I mean, I think it is if you are asking me to like forgive you and move on in this moment. If you feel like this is the only conversation you need to have about it, you know what I'm saying, admit it or whatever else, then I think that is the problem. You know what I'm saying? But if anything else, then I don't know.
Marcus, what do you think about that?
Yeah, like you didn't put this. It's just like, it's the same type of pressure that people talk about when they bring up like public proposals. It's like, like you are in front of all these people, and it's like, forgive me, I love you, I want you, and you got like everybody looking around at you, and it's just like, so are you gonna forgive her or not? And you like, that's that pressure that you put on somebody to, accept whatever it is you're saying, because you're in public. So yeah, it is manipulative. Predatory. I mean, you could make the argument that the relationship itself was predatory because of the power dynamic. I don't know if that particular moment is an example of predatory, but I do think it's manipulative.
Yeah. Thinking about it like that, and seeing it now, like talking to you guys, I could definitely see it as being manipulative, especially in a professional sense. I'm being called out, and now I have to give some sort of, I may want to lash out and scream or whatever, but now I have to hold it in, and now I have to smile for the cameras and not make this any more of a S show than it already is. So yeah, I could see it being manipulative. Now, predatory, which is, and I feel like, and I don't know if anybody's necessarily used that word, but they keep talking about this age gap and everything. And I just, I think we have to understand that they're both adults.
Yeah.
I
think they're both
Yeah.
You're saying they're both consenting adults? Because for me, the age gap doesn't matter much, as it is like conflated with you're also like my boss. I think that's where
Mm-hmm.
the power dynamics, everything else kind of comes into play.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
if they were like even just say they were the same age or closer in age, like that would like they almost kind of cancel the other out. But because you have both together, it's like whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a chat here. Let me see. Connected said, I don't feel sorry for him. Let's be honest. At this point in their relationship, he has to know her personality. Um, yeah.
I would
Reaction?
say I wouldn't feel sorry because he still got cheated on, so I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, and I also, I mean, maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but I'm kind of iffy on saying something like that because it's like, oh, it just makes me think of like abusive relationships in general. Like, oh well, you knew how this person was. Why get surprised? No, they're still abusive. Like that
That
doesn't
part.
change.
Yeah. Born in Sapphire says, my cousin proposed to his girlfriend on New Year's in front of the family. She said,
Well, I don't feel sorry
Work.
for your cousin. Sorry, but we
Yes.
discussed that. What was that last week? 2 weeks ago? Probably.
I think it was, it might have been like last week where we were talking about public proposals and, that should be a conversation before you actually do
That
something.
part.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, let that be a conversation and then somebody have like, jump back though. That's a whole nother conversation. Maybe we should keep that in your mind. That might be a conversation later on. Now, okay, so this might be a long episode because I have 2 more questions in this topic to actually go through with you guys.
It's fine.
So, have you ever caused a scene, public scene?
That well.
I need more qualifiers. I need some
I haven't done anything in
qualifiers.
public. There has been a witness though, but we were in a house or apartment somewhere.
Okay. So not like out in public, not like
No.
for the public to see. Got you, Marcus.
No, I had to think about it. No, public. You
Listen, that's why I said there was a witness.
words
Okay.
mean
We
things.
were not outside.
Okay, so how about in a setting with 10 or more people? That not even like that.
I have not.
Okay. All right. Have you ever just gotten somebody in a group of friends though? Have you ever like given them a quick retort or something? Like we are all very slick with the tongue, I feel. And I feel like we could dish it out if we needed to.
I had you know, like housewives, they always like, let's get together and sit down and talk it all, hash it all out. I had a few of those and things have gotten heated. Yeah. Come on, Jackie Christie. Yeah. So I've had a few of those, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that never seems like a good idea to me. I mean, unless it's like a group issue.
I think it works in real life. I don't think it works on TV.
Okay. Perhaps.
We've been successful. So
Good. I don't think I've ever caused a scene out in public. But the flip side to that is, has anybody else caused a scene that put you on the spot? And I will say that has happened to me once. It wasn't loud like that everybody around us would notice us unless they had seen us. But there have been there was a moment that I had a little spat with somebody that was kind of like, why are we doing this here? I don't like to have a public, I don't like to do that, but if it has to happen, then okay.
Fair. I thought about it. I think I kind of got into it with a friend once, like again in college in the cafeteria. We kind of got kind of loud and heated one time.
Okay.
Think about it.
Ever walked out on a dinner or anything, Marcus?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm having to recontextualize because I was only thinking I was only thinking like in a romantic sense.
Yes,
so now
me too
I'm
at
thinking
first.
like, well, if we expand it, baby.
Got you. All right. So let me look at a couple of these chats here real quick. Connected is saying, I have
Listen, this one.
been in a public thing. This
Ooh.
man called me the other F word in front of a group of people. So I sucker punched him, jumped on him, and tried to strangle. I didn't even read that whole thing. I just clicked it. I didn't really know where we were going with that. Wow, connected. All right. Well, hey,
I'm supposed to feel sorry for
we're
him.
on
I
good
didn't.
terms. Let me just say that. Mama Shay is saying, I was in a group chat, had it out, and told her she needed them more than I did. So I left the chat. Within 6 months, every single one of them came to me and said, old girl was crazy. And that has to be so gratifying. I know it was. Because, and that's another thing, because with group chats, now that's another thing, because it's like, it's not public, but it's like, you know, have you ever had it out with people in a group chat? Because I have.
I like the group chat up, leave it, and then be
Yeah.
like, and what? Shit.
Yes, I know. Okay, same here. Aaron Black and Mild saying with friends, is saying no, siblings. He's done that with siblings. Born in Sapphire says
I got
not
another.
public. Okay. And what were you saying, Marcus?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So real quick, we're gonna jump into our second topic. I know we're already half hour in, but we're gonna jump into our second topic. But before we do, I just want you guys to check out the Patreon. Go to boysandbrunch.com. We pull that up. And $4 a month, you get access to our exclusive after show, Splitting the Bill, access to our Discord chat where we talk about everything under the sun. So let's jump into our second one, which is Yara Shahidi quits Twitter. Let me pull up this tweet.
Lord.
Somebody said she never understood the assignment. She cute though. And after that, like, okay, that's kind of mean, but it's kind of funny, right? I mean, and that's what that's the Twitter environment. But after that, she left Twitter.
It's not funny. It's really not funny.
I am dying at y'all cackling right now. That's hilarious.
It's not funny, but it is. Oh, okay.
Okay, so first, does this argument have merit?
Yes,
absolutely. That's why it went viral.
That's why it's funny.
Oh my goodness. You know, I have not really paid too much attention to Yara Shahidi, her career so much. I just know her as a nice girl who acts. And I know she's on Grownish, and she was on Blackish.
And that's all I know her for. I've just seen, I mean, but it's the same character though. So you know what I'm saying? So I haven't seen her do a bunch of other things.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying, okay, the shade? Okay.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that's all I've seen her do.
Okay, I'm just messing with you. Okay, so now that we have that, the merit, that the argument does have merit according to the panel here, when does roasting become bullying? And I'm asking that because that was enough to make her close down her Twitter account. And we've had a few others who have dealt with being roasted, and then maybe it's justified, maybe it's not, maybe it's just a bunch of jokes and it really just comes out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll run down a few names. So we've got the author Ta-Nehisi Coates, who closed down. Everybody felt bad after he shut it down. Everybody was like, "Oh, why did he do that? Why do we have to be so mean to people?" Blah blah blah. But prior to that, it's like, you know, a whole thing. You've got Chadwick Boseman talking about how skinny he was, and talking about, oh, you don't look well, and what's with the hair and all that stuff. And come to find out, he was dealing with some things. He was dealing. Well, what was it? Well, he was dealing with cancer. I don't know what kind of cancer. I forget what it was. But and then, of course, Michelle Williams, Destiny's Child, the whole hashtag Poor Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had to come back and say that she was dealing with some of her own mental health issues. Letitia Wright, of course, which we had talked about. She closed hers down. Of course, she was. Of course,
She did that.
it's a
She did
little
that
bit
to
different,
herself.
but still. But then we also have like Cardi B, who kind of shut hers down. And I guess she came back, and she's back and forth.
That's a cycle with vocally. So I mean,
yeah. Aaron Blackenmouth is asking what happened with Coates, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it had something to do with just the way people, because he was in political Twitter, he was deep into the political discussions on Twitter, and that is like, the last level of hell on Twitter as far as I'm concerned. It's like, just don't. Just don't go there. It's just like,
is it worse than Stan Twitter though?
Ooh.
I think Stan Twitter. Okay, so here's the thing. Stan Twitter, maybe you have a point. Maybe Stan Twitter is like right below, and then it's political.
Let's say it might be Stan Twitter, political, and then Barbie stands. Because they're little
baby, they are the teeth cycle.
Oh goodness, the Nicki Minaj stands, that's hilarious. But yeah, so that's what happened. Just the way that people have a discourse about politics on Twitter is not conducive to anything constructive. And he eventually is just like, forget it, y'all are crazy, and I'm not dealing with this anymore. But I want to ask you guys, like, when does the roasting become bullying? Because I think even we had talked about, oh my gosh, I forget the girl's name, Gorilla Glue Girl. I forget her name.
Oh, yeah.
I want to use her name, but I forget her name.
Is it like Tessica or something like that?
Yeah, Tessica Brown. So everybody felt bad after they had kind of roasted her the first. And I see your face, Brandon, and I'm just putting these examples out there. I'm not saying that they're the perfect examples, but what's the line? And I'm curious what your answers are, or if there is one. Marcus, why don't you start us off?
I mean, I don't know if there's a one size fits all answer, because like I look at this, like what happened with Yara, and I was like, this was a joke. It was, it was funny, and we kept on moving. Somebody brought up in the chat, like Yara's acting equals Kerry Washington's cry face, and it makes me think about that thing. Like, people are still sharing those pictures or whatever of the Kerry Washington face. Like, and I can't remember like if she addressed it and like brushed it off, or people were saying that, what people were saying about her reaction to it. But I see it like similar to that. Like, it really kind of depends on the person, kind of like where they are as far as like, what's too far. Because somebody like Kerry Washington maybe could like brush it off, or a Cardi could like, get mad, then come back and be okay. Maybe y'all wasn't at the point where she could, like just kind of like let it roll off her back. And I think that's when you have to come to the question, like, okay, was this joke worth it?
Right. Brandon, where are you with that?
I think I agree. It's like you can't say one thing is the same, because everything is different. And I think too, a lot of people, we make jokes or participate or whatever without knowing a full story. Like you brought up Chadwick, and they were talk or whatever about him, but then we didn't know until after he passed that he was sick, and this is like a whole full 6 months to a year, whatever later, the truth or whatever came out. So I think I do think that sucks, but we don't know in the moment. Like I think with this one, I think it was just like Marcus. I think it was just a joke. From what I see, the initial tweet, it didn't add her. I don't even think it says her name. Of course we know the pictures are her, but I think that it's just something that went viral. So it going viral means it does have merit. A lot of people agree with it, Yeah. If you're an actor, if people don't like your acting, people talk about Michael B. Jordan every day.
Every day.
And they need to stop.
I got you. So it's like, I don't know what you... But I'm saying, if that's what you're thinking, like, if you're a singer and you cannot sing and people say it, like, what do you want? Like, that's how they feel.
Yeah.
Prime example. The people come when she was making music. The people came from Rihanna every other day. She customized and kept on kicking.
Because she knows she can't sing like
what?
that.
And now she's the Avon
Came
lady.
at Rihanna about what?
Her not being
About her
able to sing
singing?
like that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that because now all I hear is where's the music. That's all I hear.
Well,
But she's always been popular. But it's them live performances that kind of.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I don't know where the line is between roasting and bullying or just making a joke because I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether I would say it's a black thing. Like we just
yeah.
black
Culturally,
people just like to,
Yeah.
we
it's
laugh at
almost like
everything.
playing, what do you call it? Playing the dozens kind of like that kind of, let me just razz on you real quick and it don't really mean anything. But then when you put it on Twitter and then it's like 50 of us doing it or 1,000 of us doing it, then it becomes everybody's piling or the whole world is piling on top of me. And so it's just a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I hope we're being careful about what we say, because there have been some instances like even Michelle Williams. I feel badly that a lot of people were kind of talking about her,
Absolutely.
and it came to a point where she had to say something about her mental health and everything for the whole narrative to shift. Now she's the bridge queen. Now she's it's like the conversation is just completely shifted. I don't know, but yeah, that's basically all I have for that topic. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say. I'm gonna check these
I think it just is
chats.
like we're saying. I think it's like for me, if it's a health thing, but again, we don't know later on. But I think that's too far. Like mental health as well. But it also, I mean, each celebrity is different. Like everybody talked about Halle's hair from the Oscars last week, and she laughed it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, I think there are some people who are more able to roll with the punches. I was trying to remember who was the other girl, John Legend's wife.
Oh, Chrissy Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had left for a while, and it was like her leaving Twitter made headlines, for whatever reason, and then she came back. But yeah, so that's another example. But let's move into turning out straight men. Let's turn into this. Let's talk about straight guys. How about it?
Well, Lois.
So there is a tweet that went out. Let me enlarge this so you guys can see. Queer men, do you think the process of actively pursuing straight men who identify as straight? Okay. I'm sorry, that just threw me for a loop. Like, okay, that's the same thing. To turn them out, quote, turn them out is predatory or at least a bit problematic. What do you think, Brandon? Is that predatory behavior to pursue a straight man, to turn them out? Is that predatory behavior or problematic?
it's definitely problematic. I'm struggling with predatory. Part of me wants to say yes, part of me is like, no. I don't know, but I think it definitely is problematic though, because I think it's plenty of gay people for you today. So I don't want to go and find someone who is not and turn them out or whatever. Um, like Mama Shay said, if you turn him, he wasn't straight. That part.
Honestly.
But I just think it comes with so much other baggage and like maybe you have commitment issues. You don't really want a relationship. You just want like this is like a conquest thing. I don't get it.
A lot of I've seen that there is a little bit of a fetish, what do you call it? Fetishistic kind of thing around it. And so that's where I understand a little bit. It gets a little bit problematic in that area. I'm curious, Marcus, what your thoughts are about that.
Don't do it. Reconsider. Read some literature. Like, no, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Like, for all the headache and all the stress that's going to come from you. Because even I feel like I feel like even if this is someone who you just know in your heart of hearts is actually gay and is just in the closet, all the hell that's going to come from that, Like, do you really want to put yourself through that? Because being anybody's first fresh out the closet or still in the closet is just not worth it.
Mm.
Especially
Trust
depending on where
you
you
me.
are in
Yes.
your, yeah.
No.
Trust you me.
Y'all
It's
watched
never worth it.
y'all watch Sex Education on Netflix?
Yes.
I haven't
I watched the
You see
first
what that
season.
boy's going through?
See? It's never worth it.
It's
But the
it's
Yes.
people have seen
don't
Noah's
do it.
Ark and they think that's what it's gonna be.
Sweetie, no. It's fantasy.
Uh-uh.
Imagined.
No. Uh Connected saying, I don't understand the fascination with chasing straight men. It's toxic and leads to more self-hatred and homophobia in the homosexual community. Self-hatred and homo. I'm trying to understand the connection between chasing straight men and that leading to, is that because straight men then view us as being um predatory, so to speak? Is that maybe, but you're saying homophobia in the homosexual community. So I don't know, maybe if you could clarify that a little bit more
It could be
connected.
that. It could also be the presumed masculine aspect. So I think it still is giving that
Okay.
a hierarchy or
Yeah.
more importance. Like,
Got you.
let me
Okay.
make them
Okay.
feel comfortable with their feminine and masculine. Let me go after a masculine straight guy.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts on this is that I would say, just as a general answer to this question, yes, it is more problematic than it is predatory, because predatory, again, it requires some sort of a power dynamic. And to say generally gay men don't have power over straight men, just the way that social system is set up.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that there are some instances where, a gay man could be physically overpowering, or physically intimidating, if they're
True.
going after a smaller straight man or something like that. So there are some instances where it could be lean more into the predatory
Yeah.
area, because based on certain factors.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I see that. I think we're good on this topic, though. We're gonna run into our last topic. I'm surprised because I was almost sure we were gonna go over like another, half hour, but we're making good time. Uh, but I think this will be an interesting topic because we're gonna talk about refusing friendship when you want more out of that relationship. So we had a tweet that went out that asked, or that said, someone on Facebook said, "Is it selfish for me not to accept a friendship from someone I wanted more from?" So, who wants to start that one off? Is that a selfish thing? What's your reaction on that, Marcus?
Yes, but what's wrong with that? If that makes sense.
Yes.
Mm,
Like, um, I feel like it is kind of selfish, yeah, but okay. Because I also think about, like, if you know that you wanted something more out of the relationship and they just want to be like, oh, let's just be friends, and if you know that's going to be difficult for you, um, that friendship is already going to be shaky.
Hmm.
So you saying no to that is putting your needs before the other person, and so that's inherently selfish.
Yeah.
But that's probably for the good of both of y'all in the long run.
hmm
Am I making sense?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like there's this negative connotation with being selfish that's
Hmm.
not necessarily always a negative thing to
Hmm.
be selfish. It just
Right.
means looking out for yourself. In
Yes.
a literal
Hmm.
sense, that's what that means. Um, Brandon, did you have anything to add to maybe what Marcus had said?
And I agree with you both. I think that, yeah, just because you're selfish doesn't mean it's bad. I think, like, if you're saying, if you know you want something else and they made it clear they don't, then that's, you know what I'm saying? It's no sense in trying to stick around hoping I'm going to change their mind. Maybe they'll come around. They might see, or my friendship is going to prove to them that we're really going to work out. No, if they said that, then let it be that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I think it honestly ties back to the last topic of, like, you meet someone who's straight and, oh, well, maybe I can turn them out. No, like they've said what it is, and so if you know you want more and they can't provide that, there's no sense in making you both uncomfortable or unhappy, or you are pining for years and years or whatever. Like, no.
Mm-hmm. My
Because
thing, yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so but my thing is that once you have crossed that line, once you have said, I'm interested in this kind of relationship, and the other person is like, let's just be friends. Stepping back and then reestablishing that friendship is it's a bit tough. It's like once you've crossed that line, how can you draw a new line over top of it? How can you step
Mhm.
back out of that zone and then just keep things like this, because you have one person who has to trust that you are not going to have those feelings, or you are not going to act on those feelings, and the other person has to trust themselves to not get emotionally invested. And I feel like it has been done. It's possible to just be friends after trying to see if one thing is possible, but I feel like it's very hard to do that, and I feel like there's always
Very.
somebody who is invested maybe a little bit more than the other person.
Mm-hmm. Very
Yeah,
that.
It's kind of what I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Very that.
What I was gonna say, like, I feel like I've seen enough mainstream gay movies to know that this never ends well. Like, because that's the case. I feel like that's the case of a lot of these things. Like, you put yourself in that position to where you're like, oh well, maybe I can change them, or no, or at least I think even Hamilton, like, you are not this person's related to this person or this person's friend just so you can still be around them, and you ain't doing nothing but torturing yourself. Like, it ain't. Yes, yes, best friend. Protect yourself, beloved. Protect yourself. That was
I had to mute. I have people like my family is loud today. I had to mute my mic. My gosh, they're killing me. Love y'all. Um, but okay, so my other question was, have you refused friendship before, or have you been in the position to I guess if you had to refuse friendship, has anybody had to say to you, let's just be friends, and you had to be like, nah, like what's her name, Mariah? Nah, nah. Brandon,
Uh-oh.
what's the thoughts? What are you
I'm thinking.
thinking?
So I have been in a situation where I had a friend, and I didn't express feelings or whatever, but they, I guess, picked up on it or whatever. So they asked, and I was like, yeah, and they were like, I don't feel the same. We can still be cool, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. But it was always awkward though, because almost as if my admission made them be closer to me. It's like, but you said you didn't want anything, so it's that was a roller coaster of whatever.
Hmm.
I bet.
Wow. So them knowing your true feelings has caused them to be closer to you, but they weren't gonna go there. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what it did cause. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. That must have been really hard, I'd imagine.
It was difficult. It
Hmm.
was, but
Hmm.
growth. Praise
Okay.
him.
Yes.
But yeah, this was maybe what, like a year, 2 year weirdness. Like, I
Hmm.
guess mainly internally, because he seemed to be fine, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. They always do, right? The other person always seems to be perfectly fine, and you're the one with all the emotional work.
That part.
I hate it.
Right.
But Marcus, have you had to deal with that kind of a situation?
Um, yes. I don't know if this is the case for y'all or what have you, but most of mine were straight. So there's that. There's
Mm.
that, like, added layer. I never like confessed anything to them, but I'm certain, like, you have eyes and a brain. I'm certain that you knew, or what have you. Um, but in knowing, knowing their straightness, I was like, all right, well, it's just that, which is also kind of why I was just, why I'm saying so hard is like, don't do it. It ain't worth it. Because it ain't.
Right. Look, I've been there. I don't know. Brandon, have you had a crush on a straight guy before?
This one said he was.
Oh.
I kind
Okay.
of figure that.
Okay. Interesting. That's so see, they will do it to you. That's why I try not to. I try not to, but I mean, it's happened. It's happened to me too. You know. Go ahead, Marcus.
No,
What was that?
no, because I feel like these last two topics come together like so much
They
because
really do.
it's just like you. I don't know why anybody would purposely put themselves through that because honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna happen anyway. You're gonna end up falling for somebody who you can't have. So why would you intentionally put yourself through that situation? Because this shit ain't fun, bro. This shit ain't fun.
Right. No, it's not. But also, you feel like there is the possibility. So there's something about that person that makes you feel like there is some
Mm-hmm.
possibility that this could be something. And you may not even know for real, because it's like if you don't say anything, because you know how we are,
Mhm.
it's like, the thing is, if I know you're straight, I'm not gonna go. If I see that you have a girlfriend or something, or if I know your history and I know that you've had a girlfriend, I'm not going to go after you. I'm not going to like try to
Yeah.
even approach that situation. But if I don't see anything, if I don't hear anything, and you're just another guy, and I know that, gay men come in all types of personalities, then the question is still there. And I don't want to just be like, are you gay? Like you don't want to ask that question because
Yeah.
then it's just like, no, who knows if they'll get offended, or if they'll be like, or if it'll just be a weird thing. You don't want to mess up the friendship. So it's weird. So I get
Yeah.
that.
Woo.
Yeah, exactly, Marcus. I have had that happen to me before as well, where somebody said, "Let's just be friends," and I was just like, "No, I can't do that. I can't do that." I can't really talk about it right now because I feel like I'm still very,
Mm,
let's say 6 degrees of separation type of thing. So I don't want to go too in depth about it.
Yes. Yes.
Mama Shay knows exactly what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, I can say more on splitting the bill. I can't give details
yeah,
this way.
maybe I'm splitting the bill. Maybe if you but yeah, it's just like, how am I going to just be your friend? Like, I love you. Why? How am I just going to be your friend? You know what I'm saying? So I would rather not have anything with you than have this fake version of what I really
Hmm.
want. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had to initiate the line, let's just be friends with somebody?
yes.
I think so. I'm gonna say
And
yes.
how was that for you, Marcus?
I mean, particularly because I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end. It's that's not fun either. But I also feel, I mean, it has to be done because it
Yeah.
just again goes back to the previous thing. Like you don't want to put yourself in a position where you putting somebody else's feelings in front of your own. Like it sucks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Brandon?
I think the same. It's not fun, but I think it's something I would rather be honest about that, so then you don't have these unrealistic expectations, or then you can make a decision for yourself. So it's like I wouldn't say let's just be friends, and then I now have you questioning or you feeling awkward or whatever. Um, but if I say let's just be friends, and then you still try to act as if or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be transparent. So then if you decide to make a decision or we can't be friends or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I have no choice but to respect that because I've let you know where I stand. So if you say do the same to me, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's weird to because now we're talking about the shoe being on the other foot, and now they're the ones dealing with all of the emotions. Perhaps they're dealing with all the emotion. We're just like, nah. Maybe not that ignorant, but in our head, we're just like, nah. Like, pause. Like, we ain't doing that. Um, yeah, I've had to say that, and I guess it just you feel, I don't know. I feel badly because I know on some level I'm letting this person down. I'm not really giving them exactly what they want, and they're probably gonna take it a little bit harder than I would like. You try to open the door to friendship, but then you're just like, that the possibility is there that it's never going to be the same thing. You realize that it may just be the end of your relationship as you knew it because they asked that question.
Yeah.
Fortunate. But not all the time, of course, not all the time. Um, I want to ask you guys some personal questions, but it's 2 o'clock. So I think we're going to ask that splitting the bill. I wanted to ask about where we were in our romantic things, like, because I really want to I really want to get deep into it because I feel like we just scratch the surface sometimes about like where we are and what we're looking for and all that stuff. But I kind of want to have that pursuit of romance conversation and really just
Oh, okay.
know what's tea. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
anyway, that's the end of our show.
Right. If you want to be nosy.
But look, join us on Splitting the Bill. I put the link in the Patreon, or I put the link in the Discord. So if you join Patreon, you can jump over there. That's another live stream as well. Let me pull up our ats, our Twitter ats and Instagram ats. I'm at Jarrod D King. Just Call Me Otis for Brandon. Loose as a Deuce for Marcus. And let's do our little toast. I didn't even refill, but I will. I will for the next show. So until next time, be careful what you say because the boys will brunch. Take care.